High Performance Live with me, Kayode Kolade. So great to be here again this evening doing this with you. How you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. How has been your week? It's Thursday, one more day to the end of the work week. And then before we get into the weekend, I hope your week has been well, has been going on well. I just want to say big well done to you. I'm so glad again to be here. We do this every Thursday like this, where I come on live, just to share with you the tips, tools, and strategies to help you be that high performer, sorry, that God has created you to be. And I'm just so happy to be here. Let me adjust this so that you don't see my chest. Okay. Yeah. So I'm excited to be here to do this again with you today. How has been your week? You know how we do it. We always start by doing our weekly review, our high performance review for the week. And you know what it is? It's just three simple questions, right? What you are grateful for, what you are learning this week, and what you are looking forward to in the upcoming week. Just those three questions. And I would really like to know from you what you are grateful for, what you are learning this week, and what you are looking forward to in the upcoming week. What are you excited about in the week to come? For me, I'm grateful for the fact to always be here to do this with you. Just count it a big privilege. I don't think even in the next 10 years that I come on live here with you on YouTube to do this, it's still going to be the same thing. Grateful to it, grateful, super grateful to be on this platform doing this live at this particular moment with you. Maybe in the next 10 years, maybe we'll be doing, maybe it will be some form of virtual 3D live interaction or something. I don't know. It's going to be something different with AI and everything. So, but it's still going to be an awesome privilege to be live on a live call with you like this. So, just so grateful for that. Um, the lesson I'm learning this week is the power of sharing your story. And that's what I'm going to be getting into very quickly, very shortly. The power of sharing your story. One thing that high performers do is that they harness the power of their stories. And that's what I'm going to be getting into in a couple of minutes. And then what I'm looking forward to in the coming week, I'm counting down. In case if you haven't heard, I have a brand new course coming up in the month of August, and it's called the $100 Week. The $100 Week, where I share with you the psychology and practical steps to take to help you make $100 in a week. And I'm just so excited about that, super pumped about that. I'll be sharing more details with you by the time we are done with the live, with what we're going to talk about today. So don't go anywhere. You definitely want to make sure that you get in on the juicy details of that upcoming program. That's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm super pumped. So just keep it in mind. And in case if you have to go anywhere before the live session is done, just in case, even though I'm saying don't go anywhere, don't touch that dial. Just in case you have to go anywhere, do make sure that you send me a message. Just type 100 in the comment section. Type 100 in the comment section right now, so that once I'm done with the live session, I will forward you the link to learn more about this program coming up in August, the $100 Week. You don't want to miss it. So that's why I'm giving you the advance notice now, just in case you have to touch that, even though you shouldn't. Type 100 in the comment section, and I'll make sure that you have the link to get all the juicy details at your own convenience and be part of that awesome program. Oh, hi, Raila. Great to have you here. Welcome. And thank you for joining. So great to have you here. Welcome. So let's get right into it. What we are talking about today to help us on our high performance journey is the power of sharing your story. And let me just start like this. I'm oh, hi, Rayla. Thank you so much. Welcome. I'm a big sci-fi movie fan. I love sci-fi movies a lot. Big fan of sci-fi movies. One of my favorite sci-fi movies is the sci-fi movie called Passengers. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you do. You will absolutely love it. It's a 2016 American sci-fi movie starring Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. And there's a quote in that movie that is one of my greatest quotes of all time. And it says that if you live an ordinary life, all you will have are ordinary stories. For me, I find that so powerful because it just points to the power of a story. Great leaders are great storytellers. Storytelling is basically how we do everything in our world today. It's how we communicate, it's how we learn, it's how we entertain, it's how we gossip. We do everything basically using the power of a story. I think it was Tim Ferriss's book I was reading some few days ago. I don't remember which one. It's either The Tool of Titans or The Tribe of Mentors. Both books very, very awesome, and I highly recommend you get them. As a high performer, they will change your life. Just has these bite-sized interviews that he did literally with titans and with mentors in businesses, in tech, in finance, that you can just read one chapter every day to change your life. I didn't plan on saying that, and he's not paying me to do that. So, but it has been helpful to me. That book has been helpful to me, and I highly recommend that you get it. Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. There was one of the people he was interviewing, and he said, a good story will always be better than a good spreadsheet. I'll say that again. And this person is in the tech startup world and all that. He says a good story will always be better than a good spreadsheet. It just tells you the power of stories. It was someone that said it's so the way stories are so powerful is when you mention two words, good Samaritan, and immediately everybody gets the message, right? You say good Samaritan, we understand what you are talking about. You say David and Goliath, immediately we get what you are talking about. And that's just the power. That's just to tell you how powerful stories are. But you and I are high performers, right? I literally, when I talk about the fact that stories are powerful, I'm preaching to the choir. That's just the truth. You know the importance, the power of a story. Yes, thank you so much, Raila, for putting that up. A good story will always be better than a good spreadsheet. I'm preaching to the choir, right, Rahila? That's just the truth. You know how powerful a story is. If you are watching this right now, you know that stories are powerful. But the reason why we're having this session is because many times the what trips us up on our journey of high performance is the sharing part of that story. That's where sometimes we get into a little bit of glitch and hitch here and there. And for me, the reason why I'm having this session with you, or the reason why I believe this conversation is very important right now, is just to share ideas that I believe that can help us better when it comes to this sharing part, because I believe that it holds a major key to our transformation, to that transformation that we desire. Sharing our story, I'll say that again. Sharing our stories is the key to the transformation that we desire to experience in that aspect of our life, be it in our finances, be it in our relationships, be it in our business. That ability to share our story, it's just so important and just so pivotal. And that's why my charge to you today is that go ahead and share your story. Stop being trapped in that place where you are going on and saying to yourself, oh, I wish my story was like the story of the Netflix founder, how he discovered the idea and came up with such a brilliant out of the world idea like Netflix. Oh, how I wish my story was like that, or how I wish my story was like Brendan Burchard. How he talks about the fact that he went through a car accident, the car somersaulted, he crawled out of the car, and then he was looking at the pool of his blood on the crumpled car, and then he saw this beautiful moon, and then three questions hit him at that moment. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Every time he says that story, right? If you've listened to Brendan Richard before, if anytime he says that story, you can hear that story a million times. Every time he says that story, I still feel goosebumps. And you can be, it's there's that big temptation to be in that place where you are saying to yourself, my story is not as interesting as this guy, so you know what, let me just keep it to myself. Nobody's going to find this thing inspiring, nobody's going to find this thing intoxicating, nobody is going to have goosebumps when I share that story. So you know what, let me just keep it to myself. It's Nobody's going to find it interesting, nobody's going to find it entertaining, nobody, it's not going to make any difference, so we keep that story to ourselves. But my own charge to you this evening is, yeah, Rayla, you're laughing. My own charge to you this evening is that no matter how ordinary that your story seems to you right now, go ahead and share it. No matter how ordinary that story seems to you, go ahead and share it. And still, in case if you are not convinced, you are asking, okay, why Kayode? Why should I go ahead and share the story, even though the story feels ordinary to me? I'm going to give you three reasons why I believe that it's very important that you go ahead and share that story. And number one is the fact that it's a gift. Your story is a gift. No matter what we would like to believe or think, our lives are not our own. That's one thing we need to remember. Your life, my life, does not belong to us. It's a gift from God to us. And the way we live that life, sharing our stories with the people around us, is how we show our gratitude to Him. It's biblical, right? To whom much is given, much is expected. So if you truly, truly see your life as a gift, then you want to share it with others, because you realize that what is that thing that I have not received. And then if I have received it, why do I behave, sorry, as if I did not receive it? If I received it as a gift, then the least I can do is to share with others. Thank you so much, Reda, for putting that up. Absolutely, your story is a gift. And so if it's a gift, then the least that we can do is to share it with others. When we keep being stuck in our head, going on and on about the fact that, oh, my story is so ordinary, it does not make any difference, nobody's going to find it entertaining. You know what we're saying to God? We are ultimately saying to God that He has not done anything in our life worth sharing. Or perhaps we're even trying to say to Him that what He has given us, what He gave to us, is bad. That the gift He gave to us is something bad. But you and I know that that's absolutely not true. That's absolutely not true. This life that you have, this breath that we have, it's an awesome privilege that we have. It's a gift that we have. There are people right now who, it's interesting that a little while back, I ran out of pre-workouts that I use, that I take in the mornings before I get my workout done. And then, I was just going on and on in my head about, my pre-workout is exhausted, I don't have what to use right now, calculating how I'm going to make the trip to where I get it, and get it and all that. I'm like, now I'm going to have to endure doing my workout without this thing that I normally use. And then, as I was just going on and on in my head about it, there was this subtle voice that just rose up in my spirit and I just said, what about if it was oxygen right now that you needed? What will you be saying to yourself? And immediately that rose up in my heart. I just said, oh, in fact, you know what? I'm grateful. This workout, I'm very, very happy to do it without the pre workout. I jumped out. I just went ahead and did my thing, because I realized that, and it's not to be flippant, and it's not to take it with a pinch of salt, but to imagine that right now there are people in the hospital who are on oxygen, who literally are struggling to breathe. Are struggling to breathe. Yeah, thank you so much, Raela. So it's not to take it flippant in any way, but to imagine that right now there are people in the hospital who are struggling to breathe, who the same oxygen, it's just, I don't know. Honestly, this is, I'm saying right now, I didn't plan to say them, but just coming back to that place, just say thank you, God. To just say thank you, God. that the same oxygen, the same air that you and I will breathe freely right now as we are having this conversation is the same. I don't know how it's done. How, that's one thing, even right now thinking about it, I don't know how it's done that, okay, to extract the oxygen separately from the air and put it in a container so that this person can have access to breathe in the hospital. It's just something that we have every reason to be grateful to God for. And when you understand that this thing is a gift, this thing is a privilege, then you absolutely know that you have something to share. You have something to share with the people around you. Yes, thank you, Lord. Absolutely, Raila. The second reason why you should absolutely go ahead and share your story, no matter how ordinary it feels to you right now, is because it's simple. It's simple to share your story. You and I are living in a fantastically blessed generation. You imagine what it will mean for me to go on traditional media right now and buy airtime to be able to have this conversation with you, or for us to be able to have this conversation and for us to have this discussion. But right now, from the comfort of my home and with just my phone, I can be right here talking with you. And for me, it's just such an awesome privilege that we can't afford to allow it to go to waste. There is a reason why you and I are part of this generation. And we weren't born in the previous generation where, you had to travel thousands of miles to go to see a relative or to talk to somebody that you needed to talk to. The fact that we have all these tools available is proof that there's something more to it. We have that abundance, really. That's just what it is. We have that abundance to be able to share with others. And it's so simple. It's never been easier to do this right now. And that's why it's so important for you to share your story, no matter how ordinary it seems to you. And then the final reason why you need to share your story is because it's valuable. Remember, number one, it's a gift. Number two, it's simple. And then the third thing is that it's valuable. Your story is valuable. I'm telling you, your story is valuable. Yes, you are going on and on in your mind that, no, there's nothing interesting, there's nothing entertaining about the story, but your story is valuable. I will never forget the way my pastor, Pastor Samadeyemi, put it. He said, see, if every day you and I are buying other people's stories, if you have subscribed to Netflix, if you have subscribed to Hulu, or subscribed to any form of cable, what you simply done is that you've paid to listen or you've paid to watch somebody else's story. And what that simply means is that our stories are valuable. Our stories are valuable. If you can pay to watch Netflix, you can pay to go to the cinema to watch a movie. You've actually paid to watch somebody's story. And trust me, there are also people there who will find your story absolutely valuable. But the thing is that they can't get the value from the story if you don't share it with them. And that's just one thing that we need to always keep at the back of our minds that, see, your story is valuable. The people who are putting together their stories, putting it together on Netflix, putting it together on Hulu, putting it together on Amazon, they are not smarter than you. They are not better than you. That's just the truth. They are not better than you. They are not better than me. And it's just so interesting that in our own nation, Nigeria, look at the way the all the cable networks, all the streaming services are rushing into our nation. And how it's so obvious that everybody has a story to tell. Just the other day, I was seeing an ad on YouTube about Basket Mouth. He and other comedians doing something for Amazon. It's just so interesting that the same Basket Mouth that maybe many of us would have just looked at him and just say, is it not Basket Mouth? I beg, I beg, I beg. There are more interesting comedians than him right now. Is the same person that a streaming service is saying, hey, you have a story. Or I don't know whether Amazon pitched him or he pitched Amazon. Whatever happened, the two of them have agreed that, see, we have a story to share. Let's go ahead and do it. And it's that thing that you're saying to yourself that, look, you and I, you have a story on the inside of you. You have a story that is valuable inside of you, but people will not be able to access that value unless you share it. Are very, very absolutely important. The next thing I want to talk about is your story sharing formula. Now that we have talked about the fact that these are the reasons why you need to share your story, because it's a gift, it's simple, and it's valuable. What's your story sharing formula? And your story sharing formula is three things. Number one is your struggle. Number one is your struggle. Now, what do I simply mean by this is that there are two things that exist in life: struggle and progress. And the beautiful thing is that everybody, whether born of a woman, as long as you have blood flowing through your veins, you've gone through struggle, you've experienced progress. That's just the truth. We can all identify with struggles, we can all identify with progress. The truth about it is that before you make progress, most times you will have to struggle. And even after you have made progress, when you desire to evolve and go to the next level, you will have to struggle a little bit more sometimes to be able to make progress again. So it's obvious that the human theme is centered around the human story, is centered around these two things: struggle and progress. So my question to you is that, what struggles have you gone through in the past? For you, and trust me, this I'm trying to break it down for you now, so that in saying, okay, yes, Kyle, share your story, share your story, share your story. How do I go about it? Now, this is what I'm talking about, breaking it down for you, that this is how you go about it. This is the formula that you need to follow to ask yourself that, what is that struggle that I've gone through in the past? What is that struggle that I'm going through currently? And I'm encouraging you that share it with the people around you. Share it with the people around you. The struggle that you are going through currently, the struggle that you have gone through in the past, share it with the people around you. Trust me, they will be grateful to you for sharing that, because it now makes them realize that I'm not alone in this. Hasn't that always been heartwarming for you, where you know you are having some random thoughts, or you are going through something, and then you hear somebody talk about it and you are like, oh, you too? I think it was C.S. Lewis that said the moment of friendship, or the moment a connection is established, is when somebody else can say, oh, you too. And so that's what it is. That when you share your struggle with other people, what happens is that that connection is immediately established, because they can identify it, because they can identify with the fact that they struggle too, and can identify you that, oh, so you also experience similar struggles. Second part of your story sharing formula is the search the search for the solution, or simply the search. Now, and that's just what it is, that many times when we go through struggle, there is that searching process, or that process of search that we go through to find or to arrive at the solution that we are looking for. And that's just what it is. That the search, the process you had to go through in trying to find the solution to that struggle, share it with the people around you. Be it a search you went through in the past, or the search that you are going through currently. And when we talk about search, we're talking about the fact that, okay, what kind of mindsets did you have when you were experiencing that struggle? What were some limiting beliefs that you had that caused you, to experience that pain and that struggle? Who and what made you change your mind, made you adopt new mindsets, or made you adopt new beliefs? Share that with people. And then eventually, what new mindsets did you have to adapt to be able to arrive at that solution? And that's what we're talking about. So, number one is the struggle, number two is the search, and number three is the success story. That's your story sharing formula: struggle, search, and your success. Share it with other people. And I know many times what is going on in our minds, that, you know what, Kayode, when I have hammered, like we like to say in Nigeria, or when I have blow, two very, very interesting words. I don't know why. Somehow they have like negative connotation. Because I just imagine somebody using a hammer on your head. That would not be pleasant. Or you using a hammer on somebody else. That would not be pleasant. But how we have identified something like that with success, or identified explosion, which is supposed to be a negative thing, with success. But it's all good and fine. You definitely understand what we're talking about. And that's just what it is. That for some of us, we are going ahead. I can't share my story now because I haven't made it. And for me, my own charge and my own encouragement to you is that you may not be where you want to be right now, but you are no longer where you used to be. You've definitely made some progress on this journey called life. Share that progress with the people around you. And that's why I started with the fact that there are two themes in life: struggle and progress. I could have said struggle and perfection, but I didn't say that. I didn't say struggle and perfection. I said struggle and progress. Progress is the key word there. And definitely, that you have made some progress. You might not have arrived at where you want to get to. And if you and I, as high performers, if we are going to be sincere with ourselves, the truth that you and I are realizing every day is that there really isn't any arrival. It's very, very humbling to realize that. For me, what is even more humbling is the fact that I was reading Mike Murdoch's book today, God bless him, and he was talking about the fact that scripture says that God is the Alpha and the Omega. Do you know, I'd never thought about it like that before. Hmm. It's very interesting. We go to church, we worship. Oh, you are the Alpha and Omega. With don't mind my voice, but interestingly, it sounded nice. I'm surprised. Yeah, don't mind me. Just be funny there. So we sing all the beautiful words, but it's today that I realized. Oh, wow. I never thought about it that God is actually the end. He is the beginning and He is the end. This journey that we call life, we're always thinking that there is that thing. We have always thought. Thank you so much, Raila. My voice is nice. I know you're just encouraging me, but thank you anyway. We've always imagined that the end, is that dream, is that thing that we're going after. Today, it just hit me, and that He's the end. He's the end. And for me, that's just what is so humbling. And that's what, should tell you that that's why you should share your story, because there is not going to be that end of perfection that any of us think that we're ever going to arrive at. It's just simply about the fact that we're only going to keep making daily progress. We're only going to keep making weekly progress, monthly progress, yearly progress. And trust me, there is somebody somewhere right now who is really, really struggling, and whose life will move to a whole new level if only you will share your story of progress with them. That's just the truth. Their life will move, will take a dramatic turn. That's what you need to realize. There's somebody somewhere whose life will take a dramatic turn only if you share that story of that progress that you have made with them. That progress that you are commonizing, that you feel is nothing, that you feel is ordinary, that story will change their life. And please, my encouragement to you is, please, by all means, go ahead and share it. Your struggle, your search for the solution, your success, go ahead and share it. Somebody desperately needs to hear it. Rounding up this session, if you're finding this helpful, type yes in the comment section. So wrapping up, sharing your story is your story sharing mindset. Yes. So I first of all started with the importance of sharing your story, your sharing story formula, and then finally your story sharing mindset. Oh, awesome, Raylan. Thank you so much for sharing. Your story sharing mindset. And so when I say your story sharing mindset, I'm simply saying what mindset would you need to have with regards to sharing your story? And the first thing I would say is that share your story boldly. Share your story boldly. It's not any other person's story, it's your story. So you have absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be bold sharing your story. Many times I think the struggle that we have is that we have not even owned our story. It's like we're having that kind of out of body experience. But that's just what it is, that you and I need to own our stories. That's the only way we can share it boldly. That's the only way we can share it confidently. And to also remember that sharing your story is also a skill. It's a skill that you learn. Many times you are imagining, oh, you will share it the first time and you will hit it. I'm absolutely sure that Brendan did not get, you know, the the level of electricity that he gets these days when he shared that his accident story for the first time. He absolutely didn't. It was obvious that over and over he shared the story over and over and over and over until it became what it is today. That now he shares it and everywhere it just goes electric. And for me, that's just what it is. That it's a skill, and it's a skill that you develop competence in by consistency. And so that's just what it is. But you will never be able to arrive at that place of competency, at that place of boldness and confidence if you don't start sharing it today. And so that's just what it is. And that's why it's very important that you start. Second mindset to sharing your story is that share your story lovingly. Share your story lovingly. Remember that there's just one word that undergirds everything that we do as high performers, and that's that word called service. The reason why we do what we do is because we want to serve people, right? That's just it. But the reason why we're also having this conversation every week and as often as possible is because we are human, and there are just sometimes that you discover that you do some things for selfish reasons. That's just the truth. But it doesn't mean that we are bad people. It just only simply means that we are human. And that's why we have to keep reminding ourselves over and over again that this is why we do what we do, because we want to serve, because of the people, because we love people, and to remind ourselves that we have to have love for people. Trust me, I'm not there yet, and my prayer every day is that God just help me to love people. Help me to love people, help me to love people, help me to love people. Because many times you are always tempted to put yourself to put the wagon in front of the horse, but it doesn't work. When you put the wagon in front of the horse, what happens is that the wagon will end up going nowhere. If our wagon is actually going to go somewhere, if we're going to make progress on this high performance journey, then that our wagon of high performance has to be pulled, has to be drawn by the horse of love and service. That's the only way we're ever going to make any progress on this journey. And so when sharing your story, always let that be the undergirding foundation, that it's coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of service. We're not trying to impose our ideas on anybody. We need to always remember that. We need to remember to be kind. We need to remember that everybody has their own history they are dealing with, so we need to be gentle and kind with people. And then, most importantly, to value everybody that has raised up their hand to say they want to listen to our story. Because it's very the temptation is always there to take people for granted, to take the one person, the two people, the five people, the 10 people for granted, because we are expecting, oh, hundreds, thousands, millions of people to gather around and say, please, 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 please share your story with us. And when we're not getting that response, it's very easy to now start taking the handful of people that have actually raised their hand and said, look, I want to listen to you, I want to hear your story. Even if that person is just your wife or your mother showing up on your live screen or your live stream, don't take them for granted. Don't take them for granted. Because they could have been doing something else. It's not, you don't take it for granted that, oh, okay, it's my wife, it's my mom. Oh, so hey, you know what? I want people, I want other people to join this live stream. And so you are taking them for granted. That's what it is. That's what sharing your story with love is all about. That don't take them for granted. Thank them, appreciate them, be fully present with them when you are sharing your story. Don't be sharing your story and then be thinking about the hundreds of people that are not there, that you are not being fully present with the one person that is paying attention to you and listening to your story. Be fully present with them, because trust me, people can sense when you are not present with them. People can sense when your mind is somewhere else. People can sense when you are taking them for granted. And so for me, that's just what it is. And look, don't think that I'm trying to browbeat you over the head. As you know, just like I said, we're having this conversation together. So I'm talking to myself that we need to be fully present with people. We need to share our story with love. The next point is that share your story authentically. Share your story authentically. Mindset to your story sharing is that be authentic in your story sharing. Be true to yourself. Don't try to be like any other person. Don't try to be like somebody else. The best you ever be is to be an echo and not an original. Be an original. Be true to your own voice. And part of being authentic is that be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to be vulnerable. That just like what it is. Nobody is expecting you to be perfect. Nobody is expecting you to have it all figured out. And be willing to share that with people. That's the way they are going to be able to connect with you. That, hey, look, I'm on this journey. We're on this journey together. I'm also trying to figure it out. So be willing to be vulnerable. It's getting to that point where you realize that it's not about being Superman, it's about being Clark Kent. It's not about being Wonder Woman, it's about being Diana Prince. So be willing to be vulnerable, be authentic, be original, be true to your own self and to your own voice. The fourth mindset is that share your story consistently. Share your story consistently. High performer, share your story consistently. I know fine, but back and continuing this, awesome, awesome. What was I saying? Share your story consistently, right? Thank you. Please, I apologize again for that. I had to change the power. So, as high performers, it's very important. Share your story consistently. I know that yes, okay, you are not getting the traction that you desire to get, and so you are in that place where you are feeling discouraged. Oh, nobody cares about this and all that. But my own charge and my own encouragement to you is that share it consistently. Doesn't matter if you are not getting the response or it's not like you are getting the traction that you desire to get. The biggest mistake that you ever make is to stop because you are not getting the traction or you are getting the response that you hoped for. I'll say that again. The biggest mistake you will ever make is to stop. Please do not stop. Do not let discouragement win. Keep sharing that story. You know why? Because you can't afford to get to your future and meet that future empty. I say that again. You can't afford to get to your future and meet that future empty. The stories that you are sharing today are the seeds for the stories of the future that you is jumbled up. But either way, the stories that you share today are the seeds for that beautiful future that you are expecting, for that beautiful future that you are looking forward to. And that's why it's very important that you don't stop. Because when you stop, what happens is that your future becomes empty. You stop sowing the seeds. And just like every farmer, if you don't plant any seed, you will not have any harvest in the future. And that's why you can't afford to stop. It's that thing where you realize that your future is too beautiful, it's too big to be ignored. Is too big to be ignored. So to forget about the fact that you're not getting that response that you desire to have got to get right now in the present, right? It's so gratifying if you have all the accolades, all the attention right now. but it's realizing that there is something that is more important, and that's your future. There is something that is much more important, and that's your future, and that's why you can't afford to stop. Do not stop. Discouragement will not win. Keep sharing your story, share it consistently. And then the final thing, sharing story mindset. The mindset to sharing your story is share it wisely. So remember, I said share it boldly, share it lovingly, share it consistently, share it authentically, and then finally share it wisely. And when I say share it wisely, here's what I mean. My mentor, Steve Harris, will always say that it's God's will for you to earn a fee doing what He created you to do for free. I remember, just like I also quoted my pastor, Pastor Samadiyemi, earlier, that if you have ever gone to the cinema, you've paid to go see or to go watch somebody else tell their story. Why not you? People too, it's God's will for people to also pay you to listen to you, to listen to your story. And that's why wisdom is very, very important. Yeah, that's why I'm hammering about the fact that you need to share it wisely. It's about packaging your story in such a way that it adds value to other people, that other people see the value in it and are willing to pay you for that story, are willing to pay you to gain the value that is inside that story. And it doesn't matter whether you sell intangibles or tangible. What we're talking about is that tangible, intangible, wrapping that thing that you do, wrapping that thing that you sell in your story. That's the way you are going to be able to make that connection, and that's the way you are going to be able to make that money that you desire to make. Now, you know how we always do it. I'm going to share this quickly, even though our time is well spent. How did I share my own story? How did I do this, apply this principle in my life? And I'll quickly say that it was during the seven-figure pitch seminar, the live in-person event that I held in June 3rd this year. Well, what happened was that I had this presentation prepared of over 200 slides that, I was just sure I was going to use to wow the participants of that event, to blow away the participants, blow them away in a very good way. And it was while I had that I prepared that presentation months in advance, weeks in advance. But what happened was that the morning of the event, I woke up and there was just this subtle voice that just rose up in my heart and just said, "Look, Kayode, do you want to really connect with those participants? Do you really want to connect with them? Then just share your story." And I was like, share my story. I have this fantastic set of slides I've prepared, 200 slides I have prepared, and you're telling me to share my story. And besides, what story do you want me to share? The story of my struggle in business for the past 10 years. And I'm like, dude, who will want to listen to that? When I go ahead and share that story, when people look down on me, they disrespect me. For me, it sounded so ridiculous that people are paying me money to come and learn the tools and strategies to succeed in business. And then the person who is supposed to teach them these tools and strategies will not be talking about the fact that he has struggled in business for the past 10 years. And I'm like, this app doesn't make any absolute sense. If I do this, they are going to disrespect me. And I kept struggling and struggling and struggling with this, but eventually I submitted, and guess what happened? At that the very start of the event, I opened up by sharing that story. And instead of getting disrespect, I got an ovation. Instead of getting disrespect, I got an ovation. And I can't explain it, but that event, that seminar opened up with an aliveness, a smoothness, a vibrancy, and excitement that I will always be grateful to God for, just because of that singular fact that I started by sharing my story. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is that to let you know that it's your own time to share your story. You need to share your own story. You need to share your own story to people. The world are waiting to hear your story. Wrapping your story around that thing that you do, around that thing that you sell, might just be the breakthrough that you are looking forward to, that you desire to get, that you desire to achieve. And that's why I'm saying, for what is worth, Do not take your story for granted. Please do everything that you can. Share your own story with the world. Trust me, there are many people waiting to hear their story. There are many people that will find it valuable. There are many people that will pay you for that story. There are many people whose lives will be forever blessed, forever changed, forever transformed because you went ahead to dare to share your own story. And for me, that's just what it is, the power of sharing your story. Remember, your story is a gift. It's simple to share your story now more than ever. It's valuable. Do not forget your story sharing formula, which is your struggle, your search and solution, and then the success. And then finally, the five mindsets that you need to have when sharing your story, which is share it boldly, share it lovingly, share it authentically, share it consistently, and then share it wisely. And then just know that I can't wait to hear your own testimonies. This is what we do here on High Performance Live. We share stories, we share testimonies, and I can't wait to hear your own story, to hear your own testimony. Just like we said at the beginning of this session, that we always have our own high performance review. What are you grateful to God for this week? What lesson are you learning this week, and what are you looking forward to in the upcoming week? That's simply your story. Just go ahead and do that. Make sure that this session doesn't end. This video doesn't end without you doing that. Drop that in the comment section below. I really want to hear from you. Those three things, and I just absolutely know that in the coming weeks, your own testimony is the next. This year, 2023 will still be your best year yet, sorry, if you apply that principle of sharing your story with those people around you. And so that's it from me. We've had a very fantastic time, even despite the fact that the power tried to mess up, but we came back, did it, and we are finishing strong. So grateful to you, for being here this time. I salute you. You are just awesome. You are just the best. Don't forget that at the beginning of the session, I talked about the $100 week, my brand new course that is coming up in August. You want to be a part of it. You want to do everything to be a part of it. There is, especially in this economy, right, that with the prices of everything gone up and everything, wouldn't it be wonderful that you had that extra $100 in a week, even if it's for fuel, for transport, for internet, or for something? It will make a huge difference. And that's just what I want to help you and guide you through, show you the psychology, show you the practical steps that you need to take to make that happen. You absolutely want to be part of it. And that's just what it is. Whether you are an entrepreneur, you run your own business, or you have a 9 to 5, it's something that can happen for you if you make out time to be part of that course, the $100 week. To be part of it, just like I mentioned earlier, just type 100 in the comment section below, and I'll definitely send you the link, and then you get the details to make that happen. You want to absolutely be part of it. Thank you so much for this time. I'm looking at my wife in case you're wondering where my wife is, where my eyes are going to. She's trying to show me something. Oh, God bless you. Oh, greetings from Germany. Okay, I did see that. Oh, that's Kristen Maurice. Oh, yes. Hi, Kristen Maurice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my wife, for showing me that, because I don't know, for whatever reason, I can't see the comments. For whatever reason, I can't see the comment. But thank you so much, Kristen, for that message. God bless you too. Thank you so much. I see all your support online for everything I've been putting out there. I appreciate you so much, Kristen. Thank you so much. So that's it. Um, well done, well done, well done, well done. So glad that we made this happen this week. Make sure that you're part of that program. The $100 week, like I mentioned, you'll be getting more updates from me here on this channel. So look out for all those updates. We'll be doing this again next week, same time, same station. Can't wait to have another awesome time with you. Do enjoy the rest of your week, Friday, even as we go into the weekend, and as we enter a brand new week. Do take care. Your greatness is very sure.